Good afternoon. We're here to provide an update on Phase 2 of our reopening plan and discuss some updates from the command center. But first, I want to give our usual update on hospitalizations and testing. On Thursday, the state reported over 9,000 additional individuals were tested for COVID-19 and 271 positive cases were reported. To date, around 737,000 people have been tested and almost 930,000 tests have been conducted across the Commonwealth. The average positive test rate in Massachusetts is now about 2.3%. Since mid-April, the average positive test rate has fallen by 92%. Right now, fewer than 1,000 people in the Commonwealth are hospitalized. I went back to the middle of April and couldn't find a number that was that low on the hospitalization side. This includes 227 people that are currently in the ICU for COVID-19. Hospitalizations are down by about 72% since the middle of April. The Commonwealth's made significant progress to reduce the spread of COVID-19 and to reduce the number of residents needing hospital-level care. Almost all Massachusetts hospitals are no longer using surge capacity, which represents about an 81% reduction, meaning the healthcare system is open and ready to serve everyone out there safely. This progress is encouraging and proves that we're moving in the right direction as we continue our gradual reopening. We are making the progress we're making because of the actions that people here in Massachusetts are taking every day. Face coverings when you can't be distant, washing your hands, staying 6 feet away from people when possible, and monitoring for symptoms and getting tested if you have any. COVID will continue to be with us until there's a medical breakthrough, but the tremendous progress that we've made proves that these things do work and we can contain the virus. And this is how, over time, we contain the virus and continue to reopen at the same time. On Wednesday and Thursday, as many people know, our administration offered free COVID-19 testing for individuals who participated recently in large gatherings, particularly the protests to honor George Floyd. Preliminary information we've received indicates that almost 16,000 people have been tested across the Commonwealth during those 2 days, and I think there's testing going on today as well. Yeah, 3 sites that were oversubscribed. We're pleased that so many people went out to get tested, and we should have the test results in the next couple of days. We should keep in mind that COVID doesn't take the summer off. We cannot, nor should we become complacent. Recently, other states have seen increases in cases and in hospitalizations. The progress we're making here in Massachusetts demonstrates that if we're vigilant and disciplined, we can do both. We're reopening and containing COVID, but it only works when everybody does their job to slow the spread. So we're asking everybody to keep up the fight, and it's up to each of us to continue to do the work that limits the spread and keeps us moving forward. With respect to the reopening, this will be the beginning. Phase 2 began on June 8th. In order to monitor the impact of reopening more businesses, our administration divided this phase into 2 steps. Today, thanks to the progress that we're making in fighting the virus, Step 2 will begin on Monday, June 22nd. That means that a number of additional businesses may resume operations. This includes indoor dining at restaurants, and offices are permitted to go from 25% occupancy to 50% of their capacity. The Lieutenant Governor will have more details on that in a moment. While we're lifting the office space capacity limit, employers should continue whenever possible to encourage their employees to work remotely from home whenever they can. And for densely populated areas, specifically Greater Boston, if people can keep teleworking, we can obviously keep crowds off the MBTA for a little longer. The T's worked hard to adjust schedules and practice heightened cleaning protocols for high-touch surfaces. But the best way to prevent the spread is to minimize the number of people being in close quarters, especially in indoor close quarters. There are many people who must commute to do their jobs, and we all have an obligation to do our part to avoid crowding on public transportation and in common spaces. To the extent that companies can continue to support their workers as they work remotely, we highly encourage them to do so. It's not easy for many to work from home, especially with kids and other distractions, but it's incredibly helpful in reducing the spread of COVID, and it also leaves transportation venues open and available to those who have to go to a physical place of employment. All executive branch employees who are currently working from home will continue to do so. The administration is keeping in place our current workplace policies at this time for just that reason. Reopening Massachusetts is working. Businesses are coming back. People are regaining that sense of purpose that was lost. I know it can't happen fast enough, but people in Massachusetts are proving that we can reopen and continue to bring the fight to the virus when we all do our part. I want to thank you once again, and I can't believe I'm saying this again, for washing your hands, for socially distancing, and for wearing face coverings. That is how we contain and beat COVID and continue to reopen the Commonwealth. I do want to close by noting that this morning we issued a proclamation recognizing today, June 19th, as Juneteenth here in the Commonwealth. Juneteenth marks an important moment in our country's history. 155 years ago today, Major General Gordon Granger and his Union troops landed in Galveston, Texas. Major General Granger brought with him news that the Civil War was over. He also read a proclamation that in part said the following: "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves." Juneteenth celebrates that moment when some of the last enslaved people in the country were informed of the end of the war and of slavery. This holiday is also a chance for us to recognize the painful history of slavery and racial injustice in this country, and to acknowledge the lasting, systemic impact that continues to this day. It's a chance for us to recommit ourselves to building a more equal and just society. This year, as we engage in a national conversation around racial injustice, recognizing this holiday is more important than ever. And we look forward to working with our colleagues in the legislature on ways we may further recognize this important day in the future. Thank you.